of the children is diaspora.
Hello out there. It's a lovely Tuesday. I am Pastor Nixon, and by the grace of God, we are here to talk about something very salient, something very important that I believe that everyone should start getting to know about, and the earlier the better. Why are the marriages, major marriages in diaspora, why are they failing? And why is it that a lot of people are being frustrated? Why is it that a man works all day to gather a lot, and suddenly the next he sees is divorce being filed, and he loses everything he had labored for? Today will be profound solution to such. And I'm not the only one discussing today. I have a lady and a gentleman in the house.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brenda Lee, and I'm super excited to be here this Tuesday evening. And before we go on, permit me to apologize for not coming online yesterday, Monday. As you know, that Solution Bay is every Monday night by 8 p.m. But due to technical issue, we couldn't come online yesterday. So please, I hope my apology is accepted by you. Thank you very much. And we have an amazing gentleman here who is joining us live. So glad to have you, sir.
Thank you. I'm so happy and I'm so excited to be here. David Akinloye is my name. I'm very much happy to be a solution bit tonight, and I trust the Lord that we will provide solutions to some of these salient issues that confront you in marriages, especially Nigerian marriages in diaspora. You can say.
Well, it's a serious issue because there's a case study that I wish we could see a video that we can just show, but I believe a lot of people heard the story of the US based Nigerian medical doctor who allegedly, I'm not, it was reported actually, but whichever way, it's what we heard and what we read online on some blogs, that he committed suicide due to $15,000 a child support bill. And there's so many horror online about this issue. But before we even go to this, because I was like, is it really worth it taking your life because you can't meet up with something? As a matter of fact, he's a medical doctor. But even before we even go to that, it's very obvious that a lot of Nigerian marriages over there are not really working. And people say that, when I was reading the comments online, actually I saw a lot of mixed feelings. Some ladies were like, okay, that's the best thing that she really is working, she needs a doctor. And I was like, okay, his license was seized. You don't know, maybe it was recorded how long they've been married. I know they might have been having some trust in their marriage for a very long time, and maybe they realize that they can't really go home with it again. But why do you think Nigerian marriages have issues over there? No,
Well,
Nigerians have issues over there. It didn't just happen there. Maybe it has been happening here, and maybe over there it became more uh, unmanageable, or how should I say it? So why do you think so?
well, to be very honest, even here in Nigeria, marriages fail.
That's
Everywhere, everywhere marriage can fail. Anywhere marriage can fail. And but the only reason why we look at a lot of things and we ask questions is at this point in time that this man believed. Naturally, I believe that an average Nigerian will tell you, anyhow, I will not die. Whatever comes, let it comes. It's not in the DNA of an average Nigeria to commit suicide, but now having suicide because of the system, the policies that favored the lady, and the man is just looking at how will I ever be able to meet up my licenses and I don't have anything. I believe the first thing I'll say is that to any man out there going through days, there is still hope. Even when all hope seems lost, there is still hope. The first thing is this: if that place cannot sustain you, come back home. When I mean home now, I'm not talking about heaven. I'm saying come back to Nigeria, because the Yorubas will say that if you don't know where you are going, you should be able to know where you are coming from. And I believe that averagely, most of the time, we have this fear of the unknown. Fear of the unknown. I was reading a book that was talking about the rich men that committed suicide. One of them committed suicide because as of then, he projected that in the next 5 years, he will become poor. With the rate his money was going down. So he was still a millionaire when he committed suicide. You understand? So when we look at it critically and carefully, a lot of people do things out of fear and frustration. I may not understand the story of how they got there, but I think a lot of Nigerian men might still have to travel out so that they will be able to treat their spouse with wisdom. Now, we have a lot of people who abuse ladies, but I'm not too sure that that is visible out there, because from the look of things, the policies favored the ladies more. The policies favored the children. Like one of the pastors was saying that in the American order, that we have the women first, then the children, then after the children, the animals, the pets, before the men. And critically, when you look at it, that is just how it is, what it is. And as a man there, I think you just have to be very careful. As a man there, I believe that you have to hold the bulls by the horn and know what you're doing. Killing yourself will not make you.
But let me even talk before even going over there, because I believe that a marriage that's going to work here in Nigeria, is it in abroad that is going to work? At least perhaps there's the same traces of maybe that toxicity in their relationship while they're in Nigeria. But in Nigeria here, I believe that women don't have a say. Even with our own culture here, they believe that as a woman, you don't even have any rights. Because if you're a woman and you don't have anything you are doing, you don't have, you are still depending on your man for everything. You understand? If you say you want to fight for divorce, it might not really favor you, because what are you going to bank on? What is going to sustain you if your man is not there? So I think maybe Nigeria humbles such women more, and it makes them to just endure a lot of hardship. But let's talk about as a toxicity in Nigeria, because I believe it doesn't start here. And I know my gender for real. A lot of women knowing fully that okay, Nigeria cannot favor them. We are very, very. God made us wonderfully, and there are ways we can get aware. We can get over some things. I could not say, oh, honey, I think, can't you see that as a doctor, Nigeria, you can't really make head over, your profession cannot really, you can't make it in Nigeria here. Why not just consider relocating? Because as a medical doctor, at least, there are more chances and opportunity for him over there. So, but there are some women that will just try to encourage man just because okay, they believe that maybe they are better off over there. And knowing fully that here things are not working here. But in their mind, they know that once they get over there, that's when they can now express themselves, maybe now express their right, because they know that women have more right. So now when you are seeing these traces as somebody that is considering okay relocating or thereabout, what do you think they can do? Does that mean divorce is the only option? Can't marriage be worked out? Can't it work as work, or even while they're in Nigeria? And even when you consider traveling over there, what are the things such can do when they are going to, at least, thank God you are a marriage, you are a marriage coach.
Thank you so much. Nigeria context in terms of success in marriage, to be very frank, is going to be very different from the context of America because of the situation of laws and policy. But then, when you say that if it's not working in Nigeria, it's in America that it will work. The truth of the matter is that a man that is not maybe taking advantage of his wife in Nigeria, definitely when he gets to America, he's going to cop such person positively. That's the truth, because you can't do such things. I've seen a man in Nigeria who literally look forward to see how to deal and beat his wife. So definitely for such marriage, if two of them travel, is a breakthrough for woman, because he will never be beaten by his husband. But then internally,
we still see some men that still, regardless the law and the policy over there, they still because it is an habit, it is an attitude of being toxic. So there's no way you can hide it.
Yes, I know, but that is if you are not busy, because I have people there. Yes, in fact, if your neighbor reports you, not that if your neighbor that is staying, if they report you, they go after you. So the truth of the matter is the policy, they actually favor women and all of those things. So coming to Nigerian context, the truth of the matter is I put something on my page this morning, and that is perfect marriage. There is no situations, or there is no marriage that doesn't have issues. How we're able to resolve the issue, how we're able to address the issues, is what matter. And I was talking about the fact that when people hear about perfect marriage, they think it's not possible, because the definition of perfect marriage has been that there's no way two people who are living differently can be together, and then you say there will not be issues. So by that definition, they see that perfect marriage is a marriage that doesn't have a problem, and that is not the meaning of perfect marriage. As a perfect marriage is a marriage that has a problem, then resolve the problem promptly and properly. So it is not absent of problem that make a marriage perfect. It is the ability to resolve the issues, the ability to not just resolve to it promptly. Because if you don't resolve it promptly, it can linger on and cause a problem. If you don't resolve it properly, it can there is a way to go about it. So in Nigerian context, so it is not to be out of place to have issues in marriage, but how we resolve it has been the problem. However, if it is not working for you here internally, even when you go out there and you humble yourself, you are just patching it. That you are not really enjoying intimacy with you and your wife. You can be together in the house and greet, and no connection, and you cannot talk, and people will just go and report you. So such case, you can't expect magic. You just be covering yourself to situations, but the reality is that the two parties in marriage has to be ready to make it work. Otherwise, it won't work.
Let's even talk about our own system here. How abortive our system can even as in add this policy, as in maybe just a bit of this policy that can favor maybe women, maybe people that are going through toxic relationship. Are there laws that can favor maybe even I believe that there are some men that also go through an abusive relationship, but not as much as women and children. How about if our laws can really favor these things, such that it can curb some men that believe that they can exert their power and their authority, and they can exert this over the woman and just take advantage of that? How about if our law can just put this into consideration?
Yes, it's true. There are laws. In honesty, there are laws, but the truth of the matter is that a lot of us doesn't even know the extent of these laws. We don't know how to apply it to ourselves. And so most times you see a lawyer trying to educate people, and then they will hear, I don't have time, and it seems to be like the law is not supported. There are provisions in the law, but the problem is that most of the time we don't harness it. We don't even know what the law says. For example, I watched a court case on online where the woman filed a divorce, so to say, and then the man was trying to say that I'm not going to responsible for your child. Since you left home, I didn't say leave home. You are the one that left my home with your child. I'm not going to be responsible for it. So the lady who is the judge was saying, yes, you have, but the law doesn't provide such. That you still have to, because you have admitted this is your child. It's innocent child. You can't say you and your husband, your wife have issues. This child will not suffer. No. The law says that you must be able to take care of the child. So by so doing, so how much are you going to pay per month? You mentioned the amount. No, you can't pay that amount. Step it up. And the law, the judge was able to. So there are provisions in the law that make such room for us, even for men too. All right, but the reality is that when it comes to two party in these things, it's not just individual. To make it work, two of them has to be involved, and it's very easy to say if it's not working, let me work it out and let work out of it. That's most of the things a lot of people say. If it's not working, cut it off. Don't waste your time. But there are things that we can work out in the marriage. So within the law, there are laws. But do we all, as married a couple or an individual, know what this law says to us? That we can say, okay, yes, with this I can go on. Otherwise, why do you have to hear the woman say, no, you have not done registry, you have to go to court to go and do registry. You understand? That is, they know that there's a law that addresses where they want to go into. You can't hold on the man and say, I want to go to your house. Let's go to court. In fact, court marriages has to come before you go to church. So that means there are things in the system legally that back up the marriage, but most of the time we don't really exploit.
So we having said that now, so will you now encourage, because let's talk about I want us to talk about it in Nigeria. Maybe I should now ask Pastor that, because we see that a lot of people just go into marriage. Some people will say that they would rather prefer a court wedding just because of cases of divorce like this, and some will say, okay, let's just take blessing. Which one is more important between legally wedding legally or
Church marriage,
or traditional? Which one is really more respected? That when you know that, okay, I'm legally married, oh, I received the blessing of pastor, nothing can happen. So which one do you think should be?
To be very frank and honest, it depends on the motive of the person involved.
Or which of the parties, the husband or the wife?
The person that is playing the most game, that has the loudest voice concerning the union. Now, in most cases, many ladies prefer court wedding because it secures them than any other kind of marriage. And there is nothing saying, see, in reality, a wedding is a wedding, whether court, church, traditional, or which other one, impregnated and married by. You understand? But in reality, once you say, I agree to stay with you, then there is a consent. Both of you are in agreement. Then you must be able to maintain this agreement as a mutual agreement. But I don't think that any one is more important than the other, but motives for the marriage is more important. When you get into marriage, most of the time, there are a lot of unforeseen circumstances that will come. So for me, I would say for you to be more secured, I would say go for court wedding. Because when these unforeseen circumstances come, if you marry a man who always wants to be in charge, saying that my voice must be the final voice here, then you will have an issue, because your voice will not be heard when the chips are down. So there are times that you just have to present yourself to the government, because a lot of people doesn't respect the body of Christ when it comes to marriage. They just want to, but there are times that the court can, like taking for instance, if it will have been the church that told that man, all you have will be divided and one part will be given to your wife, he will tell the church, go to hell. You understand? He will walk out of the church, but he dare not walk out of the government. So at times you use your marriage. I mean, your marriage has to be secured by the whatever organization that both of you fears most. Now, for those that fear God most, I would say church wedding. But there are some people that they don't fear God. They don't fear. The only thing they fear is once the government says it, then they will have to comply. So it depends on who is involved. But whichever way, don't marry with your brain lost. When you are getting into marriage, it's not a...
And 388 of the penal code stipulate imprisonment for 2 years or with a fine for adultery in Nigeria. So I don't look at, there are some, for people that are married legally, they say that the wife can sue them, if you have evidence against your spouse.
Okay.
But, if this law were to be practiced in Nigeria, can you just imagine how many men would have been in prison by now? Because some people just do some things and just feel like, okay, there's no law. I can. You see some people, they will impregnate a lady and they just go scot free and just believe that, okay, I can't take responsibility for for whatever I've done. You know, it happens a lot, and that's why we see a lot of single mothers out there, because the man is not taking responsibility. Assuming we have a law that binds all these actions, all these criminal acts, I believe maybe it will reduce some of these acts, and just, you know, it will regulate it, and just you can't believe that, okay, I can just do something and go scot free. But over there, I think it is regulating some things, and some men might not be able to really manage the situation, and we realize that a lot of men have gone into depression because they see that this thing is not really working well for them, because it affects them mentally, it affects their finances, it affects them all round. So because I want us to look at it holistically. Marriages in Nigeria fails, abroad it fails again. So what should we now say it is because? Can't we just settle something that, okay, let's just sort it out? Must it get to that extent of somebody now thinking that, okay, I've lost everything, then what am I left with? Then suicide.
Well, the truth is this: anything can fail. Any system can fail. Either we like it or not, there are a lot of surprises. And when people meet surprises, the next thing they do is that they can't cope. And when you can't cope with surprise, you take irrational decision. Now, if you enter the dark and somebody shouts or decide to shout, and you are not aware that someone was there, the first thing is that there will be a reflex action. There is tendency you misbehave. Naturally, you may be cool, calm, and collected, but when the noise comes, all of a sudden, you do what naturally, that if they play the playback for you, that this was you, you will be asking questions: how did I get here? So in reality, a lot of people meet surprises in their homes. Things they didn't plan for comes all of a sudden, and they find it very difficult to take action. They don't know what to do. We like it or not, culture has a lot of role to play in homes. For instance, it is a normal mindset for a black man in Nigeria or in Africa to believe that I must control. But there, the control is 50-50. If not for the churches that are standing up, as a matter of fact, it's not even 50-50. The woman has more voice than the man. And where there is no balance, at the end, expect anything can happen. I would like to say this, just to talk about what you've just asked. Any marriage can fail anywhere. Major marriages we need to ask questions about is, what is the motive? Why did they come together? Some people will come together because of wealth. If I marry you because of your wealth, and I could find a law that will make me have the wealth without being in marriage, I think I can just take that way out. If I marry you because you are popular, maybe you are famous, once the fame start going down, I'll start looking for a way out. So the question is, why are you even in the marriage? Most people, they enter marriages and they believe that they have been trapped. So they see the marriage as a trap, and they are looking for a way out so that they can express themselves. A lot of people are struggling to be heard. A lot of people in some marriages, if they are given second chance, they will tell you, I'm not marrying again.
So before you continue, I think we are trying to have a call. One of our guests is trying to call online.
Oh, okay.
And if you want to call from online, please, you can call on the number that is scrolling, 09122026523. 09122026523. Okay. All right, please. You can call back now if you're watching us now. Okay.
All right. So I think we should first of all sit down and analyze purpose. Why am I getting married? Why am I marrying this person? And after settling this in your mind, also have this at the back of your mind. There will be surprises. There will be surprises. After the surprise, will you still be ready to cope? The word for better, for worse. Gradually we are removing it from most of our marital vows. It's now for better, for better. Also, how do they put?
For better for you, because you are talking about, so please, if our callers are calling you, please let us know so we can just pick their call. For better, for if I discover that, okay, something is not working well, a lot of people pretend a lot, and by the time you get into it, you realize that what you order versus what you get, in marriage. So are you now saying that you should now keep struggling and just continue with the surprises, and you realize that this surprise is not really getting, and it can really get you off hook? So should one continue with such?
Yeah, that is where I will come up to say that there is what you call a level of maturity. There is what you call threshold for everyone. There is what you say, I cannot take anymore. And there is what you say, okay, I can manage it. It's not a big deal. When we get to the point that we can't take anymore, we must have this understanding that we need counseling, we need a third party, we need someone who will put us through. See, a journey you've never been through, you can't know the road totally. And that's why, we like it or not, we need someone who can teach us again. I believe that I've been in counseling for quite a while, and I've seen a lot of home going through a lot of stuff. And such that they go through is not such that is not common to men. A lot of us, we go through things that are common to men, but because it's our first time, most of the time we don't know how to handle it. I believe this, except the marriage is something that maybe at the end is resolving to physical assault. Maybe someone, a life is at risk. Someone wants to kill somebody. Then at that point in time, we can say, okay, why not go and see how you can go to court or somewhere so that there can be separation, and maybe from there you know how to move on. You understand? So this will be my take on this.
Wow, that's wonderful. So, Mr. David, so what can you say on this? When you meet some surprises that you didn't really bargain for.
Yeah, it's vary from homes to home and individual to individual. Just like Pastor said, coping mechanism differs. Most times, some of those things are not intentional. You just see that situation, just bring them out. It could be economic situation, it could be, childbearing situations, in-law situations, and a whole lot of them. And quite a lot of things that we see as surprises in our homes, to me, is still some underlying factor that has to be addressed between the two parties. And that is the place of wisdom. Because you can't get it all. I mean, you can't know it all. Things will come up. This person that is teasing your life, this person that you are running after, things are going to come up. Like Pastor said, two people has to make a decision to forgive themselves, to keep on in the marriage. I do say to people when I'm talking in marriage that a lot of people marry the wow of marriage. When we are dating, they look forward to, oh, this is how it's going to be, but they don't marry the day-to-day things that will happen. When those things now begin to show up, you're like, I didn't bargain for this. You have to make. That is why we say that marriage is for the matured mind. It's for the matured mind. It's not for somebody that is thinking any small things. I want to go out. I want to see my parent. I want to see my brother. He has to be there. You have to determine to make a commitment to make it work. And I do say this: if you are not ready to make it work, it can't work. If you are not ready to make it work, no matter the counsel you receive outside, it can't work. I was talking to one of my friends who's is a sex therapist, and people call him all the way from America for solutions. And then he was telling me that, sir, let me sweep into this matter. This evening, a particular person having issues on Nigeria here, you know, and they've not been having sex and all of this stuff, and it resorted to church coming in for them. Not that they are not doing well. So that's why I say sometimes you see what is your problem. It's a cakewalk for somebody. You have to look at the peculiarity. And I started looking at this. Okay, if the church swept in within 4 days, 5 days, according to them, he says it's like a honeymoon. All of a sudden, the woman went back with the 4 months. I said, what happened? That means he was not ready. If he can do it for 5 days, that means this thing can work. So the two party has to just make it work. So there are different coping mechanisms. If your spouse is bringing out things you don't see before, may I ask that you take your time to study why he's doing like that? Because sometimes I follow up a couple, and after we talk, he said, my wife is cheating, my husband is cheating on me. Before we started talking, he said, nobody asked me why am I acting like this. I said, okay, sorry, why are you acting? It's because my husband is cheating on me. And the husband said, yes, sir, I'm cheating because my wife is not available. And so
everybody have
I'm telling you,
yes,
shifting blames. It's not available for me. Anytime I want to, play this, he say I'm tired. We resolved the matter that day, and that was the end of the solutions. Or two of them were able to come up because the woman said, "You are blaming me. You even ask me I'm acting like this." So if your spouse is acting somehow, there's a reason. It wasn't acting like that, or she wasn't acting like that before. Something possibly is not what clear out. So it's not totally let me leave the marriage that is a solution. Because if you bring another person in, you marry another person. If that person develops, you will divorce again. How many people you want to divorce? So the ability to make it work and see that yes, let's work it out. That we know we have differences, but then with our differences, can we live together? Will help us to develop a coping mechanism and then we can go on.
Actually, thank you very much. I believe there are some that are not actually workable because like Pastor rightly said that there are some relationships that they could be toxic and they could be life-threatening. There's somebody that will just advise that that this thing is life-threatening to you, whether the family of the man or the family of the woman, and they know that this thing is life-threatening. Like the case of the guy that committed suicide, they said there was a report that the guy was after he failed, he lost the court case, and they say he held the wife and the children at hostage with gunpoint. You understand? So there was a story that he wanted to kidnap them at gunpoint, and the father of the bride was like, it's like maybe things turned around for him, and he eventually killed himself. So it's like maybe a way of maybe things turning around, and it didn't really work the way it was planned to do. And it's like maybe that's just the way things work out. But my own issue is, should community suicide have been the solution to it? And we see that a lot of men have believed that men shouldn't speak out, men shouldn't open up, they should bottle up things, they have a lot of things to keep to themselves, that men have a way of managing things. So why do you think men don't even open up on some things? Why do they really bottle up issues a lot? Because we women, we are the ones that can very outspoken. You understand that?
Yes, it's a very critical question, and I think we have privileged to have sat in the meetings and this kind of questions was asked. Why do men bottle things up? To me, I think to a large extent is a society or cultural thing. There's this cultural belief that you are not a man enough if you cannot stomach some things. You are not a man enough. You are or just can't endure some certain things, especially with your wife or your spouse. So that is what makes some men to feel like, how will people hear this? How are they going to judge me? That means I'm a weakling. I can't talk this kind. I would rather bottle it up. But that is not the real thing about handling situations. I've said before, the greatest man that I've ever lived, to me, on the surface of the earth, wept. He cried. So why? That's man. Why do you think your manhood is being defined by you not able to release the emotional things out that you're supposed to release? It doesn't solve the problem. Now, this guy that killed himself, right? I believe it's frustrations. Frustration maybe is thinking, how am I going to cope? They withdraw my license or withdrew my license. I don't know how I'm going to start. How am I going to get money to start paying 15,000 monthly for child support? A whole lot of things can resolve. But is that the only way you could have taken to see that end is that may not be the way out. You can seek help. There are people, I don't know the kind of situation that even from, because the medical doctor should be somebody that is sound. The medical doctor is somebody that is you should be able to have some level of sanity around you to treat human being. You understand? Before you can carry injection.
Don't let's mix things up. Medical doctor that treats people, don't they get sick?
They get sick.
Pastors that prays for people, don't they have issues too?
No.
So I think we have a kind of mix up and thinking that, okay, this person is perfect, he's a man, he's a leader, so they shouldn't have issue. As a medical doctor that is not finding happiness in his home, that things are not working for him, he might be mentally unstable. And people might think that, okay, he's making money, he's a fine looking man, he's this, is that, but they didn't know that he's dying silently. Nobody will just wake up one day and say he want to commit suicide. Perhaps he has been showing, because I was hearing a lot of story online that there was a time that the father of the bride, the father of the wife brought us some pictures of so many women that the guy cheated with on Facebook. I'm not sure of that story, but I believe there has been series of issues from the family before now, and I was like, what have they been looking at? A lot of time we try to just ignore something and say let them manage it, but people are really going through stuffs. They are going through stuff, because for somebody to say he wants to commit suicide, suicide is not just about traveling, ending his life. Someone that is a cardiologist is they're talking about, okay, maybe the $15,000 charge is way much, but as a cardiologist, as in averagely, they say their salary there should be between 250,000-500,000. You understand, over there? So
US dollar.
US dollar. So I'm not sure that paying the bill should be an issue for him. I stand to be corrected. Maybe ruling that out. Okay. So what other thing could now make him to say, okay, everything is over, everything can be worked out? They say, okay, he abuses the wife and things like that, but we don't know how true that is. Even though he's abusive, they said maybe that was the reason why his license was seized. You understand? So perhaps he has been going through all these things, and he was like, okay, he has lost everything. And he said, there's no way out. And he believed that, okay, let me just end it all. Now that he has died, the wife now, who is now going to pay the child support now? Who is going to take care of the child, of the wife? Who is going to take care of the wife? Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to add things up and just ask the question that, okay, men that are going through stuff like this, can't there be a kind of association, maybe a kind of, I don't know, because women, we have a lot of groups whereby we air our opinion, we speak out, we voice out, we rant, we cry, but men, I don't know, maybe men have a kind of gathering whereby they can come together. Pastor, what do you feel? In church, and even in church, men don't even seek spiritual help too. Because if I may ask you, how many maybe husbands do come to church? You see the wife. Many women are in the church, but men, you won't see them in church, and they are going through stuff. So does that mean men don't need prayers too?
Well, to be very honest, without mixing words, before the COVID, just before the COVID season, we got to a point in time whereby men started killing their wives in the US, in diaspora. The reason not far-fetched. You say, I don't want to marry all these foreigners. Then you invite someone from the village, come over, you pay all the expenses, do everything. And then they prefer that most of their wives should become a nurse. So you train after training, the lady now has gained her feet. She looks into your eyes and tell you, I'm tired of your behavior. You have to leave the house for me for a while.
Well, it's the husband that trained.
The husband bought the house. The husband trained her. The husband, you understand? And before you know what's going on, they lock the man outside.
Outside of the house that
outside of the same house that he bought with his own mortgage.
And it got to a point that men started resolving to killing their wives. Now, there are times that when evil is being fueled, people will take law into their hands. When a man labors so much, and the only thing that may we never marry a woman that will become a bunga boom on our throat. Because there is still this what we call the Lila syndrome that wants to finish the man. Well, for me, I will counsel. You are married with your sense. When you see some traits that are not what it should be, ask questions. Don't be gullible. Ask questions, seek for counsel, seek for guidance. Don't just say, man, I think I'm man enough. Because to stomach it, I'm a man, man. You will end up you will end up crying like a baby.
Hey, sorry, sir. Sorry. But what I'm saying in essence is, can't men have a kind of, I don't know, maybe you are not getting me. Can't you have a kind of maybe gathering where you talk, where you, I know a lot of men, they use maybe their parlor, they go out there, but I think there should be some decent places where men can really go. Or what do you think? Because this is, let's even live like diaspora, even in Nigeria. There are so men that they are really depressed. They are going through stuffs. You understand? They can't really speak out. So why can't men just look for somewhere? Because we're just trying to look for, okay, what is the way out? Because we have to talk about the solution, which is the main reason why we are here. Absolutely. Men that are going through stuff like this, what can they do? Buying themselves, like somebody put on like that, the one just buy himself like that, and that's the end.
Pathetic,
It's really, really pathetic. So I think it's high time men woke up to help themselves, to stand for themselves, to be a voice for themselves, because it's going to continue like this. Fine, women are getting advocates, as people, women supporting women, but can't men to rise up to support their themselves? It's all about, okay, I want to make money that at the end of the day you won't enjoy it.
Well, let me just come in to say this. Naturally, if a man and a female, if they engage in a quarrel or fight, the woman will always win people's sympathy and emotion.
Absolutely.
Now, there is something we discovered. Man hardly cries. But before a woman will say two sentences, she would have switched to tears. And everybody will be like, before she can be crying like this, only God knows what this man has done to this lady. And I think women naturally are fearfully and wonderfully made. But however, as a man, this should be my counsel for you. If you discover that things are going in a way that you are getting depressed, day in, day out as a husband, seek counsel. Those are man enough and take actions that you will regret later.
That's it.
The first thing is that for this man that committed suicide, if he had a good counsel,
That's it.
so if he had spoken with someone, I believe that the right person, not just someone.
Yeah.
Even if he had spoken with the wrong person, I'm not sure he would commit suicide.
No, if he spoke to his enemy, maybe the enemy that's still the way he treats. Maybe he was treating his wife.
I think I'll say, this should still boil down to speak out. Speak out. You are man, good. You need help. Everybody will need help at one point or the other. Speak out. And may God never allow us to marry a woman that has an evil agenda.
Or may we not marry our enemy as friends.
As friend, yes, as wife or husband. Now, it's very important that when you don't speak out, you won't get quality counsel.
That's right.
And talking about beer parlor, even if the man was in beer parlor, they will counsel you, you don't need to die.
Absolutely.
You understand? Do you know the shocking thing? Most men that goes to beer parlor, they go there out of frustration.
Yeah.
Some of them just want to leave the home so that the pressure can calm down. And by the time they just get home, they sneak home and they sleep. The following morning, they are awake, they are off. when you start encountering pressure from a woman, when you start encountering pressure from your man, speak out. Look for a counselor. Either you reach out to your pastor if your pastor is skillful in counseling, because there are some pastors that they are very prophetic. they can turn everything into a kind of how will I put it? A kind of instruction that if you are not careful, you will lose the home. Look for someone that is having that wisdom to counsel, because the scripture says through wisdom a home is built. What you need at that point in time is the wisdom of God. And if you don't get the wisdom of God, any approach you use will frustrate you. And at the end, you will end up looking for someone to always blame. There is nobody to be blamed more than the person that is involved. This blame game started from Adam's era, and it will not stop in our own generation, Jesus' time is to come. Because when God asked question, the next thing was that is the woman you gave me, is the serpent. So there must always be someone to blame. But as a man, own up to responsibility, stand up for what is right, do the needful. And I believe by so doing, we will be able to say, okay, there is a good direction. You understand? But this will be my counsel for someone going through such.
Thank you very much. I don't know if Mr. David has something to
Yes,
say
I think
we're talking about what men should do when they are going through this.
Yeah, Pastor have said quite a number of things, but you made mention of something that was very keen before Pastor came up, and we said that now that the guy has died, who is going to pay for the 15,000 support and everything? You get it. So, and then so for those people too that possibly you find yourself in these situations, ending it is not the way out, because you have ended it all. You can't move on. You can't do anything. It's gone. That is not, it doesn't give you solution. You know, but I understand that, like you said, sometimes when you move into depressions, you're like, man, what next am I going to face? You know, there could also be a place of ego. He's been dragging this issue for long. He's been in the court for long, this divorce case for long, and then if you're like, and I have possibly have made mouth within my folk that I'm going to get this case. I'm going to show this woman this, that I'm in charge. But all of a sudden, the table turn around. How am I going to face? You'll get it. So we can look at it from that angle. So if you are faced with this challenge, don't bottle it. I think stomaching thing is not what makes you a man. It's just wisdom for you to come up. And like Pastor said, it's not money that builds home. It is not in-law. It's not sex. It's wisdom. True wisdom is a house. So these are means of wisdom. Seeking counsel is means of wisdom. So if you know that you are deficient in an area, just be true to yourself. Be real to yourself. Don't try to say you are man enough. This is my deficiency. I want to get a solution out of it. You know, and that will help a great deal. So to a large extent, anyone that seeks solution properly and promptly will always get something at the end of the day.
Thank you very much. Somebody suggested something online. Said men like that are already seeing red flag, that they should always use Akibi's method. You know, that footballer that transfer most of his wealth to his mom. You know, so that in case anything happens, you will find something to fall back on.
What if your mom?
Tell me, don't have mommy, girl.
Your mom.
If your mom is something worse.
For those people that even have mommy, girl, and they are facing challenges.
Everybody can change.
Absolutely, but you know, as a matter of fact, I believe that a lot of things are really not working. When the system is not working and the family structure is not working, I believe your wife, your husband should be your next of kin. To be somebody that you can confide in, somebody that has your interest at heart. But like you rightly said, that we God not let us marry our enemy as wives. When you marry somebody that is looking for your downfall, that does not even, I don't know the case, I don't know what the person might do for you, that him killing himself will now make you happy, because I don't know how she will feel with the okay, now you don't have husband. So does it make you happy? Does it give you that happiness? Does it make you feel like yes, this person, even if the person is abusing you, or is making life miserable for you, I believe we shouldn't be happy and
happy for somebody to end his life, end the relationship. There are ways you can just separate, you can't separate, then just find a way to just take time off and just give yourself space. So now looking at somebody that, okay, this person has committed suicide is what makes you happy, it's not worth it. And for women, I think for women, I will talk to my gender right now on this because honestly, you know, the society really favors women over there than Nigeria. I understand that a lot of women are going through toxic relationships, no doubt about that. A lot of men are aggressive, a lot of men are violent, and a lot of women have really lost their life due to, okay, what would the society say? Oh, I don't want to have another marriage again, I don't want to have a failed marriage, and just endure that toxic relationship. Try to disguise or try to maneuver your husband to travel out of the country so that you can yeah, you can show him. I don't believe that that is the best solution for you. You can sort it out here. You can settle it here. You can find your way and just find your life here. Because if going abroad, if it doesn't really favor you at the end of the day, then what do you do? Do you understand? So I think we have a lot of people that can really help. We have counselors, we have pastors that you can really talk to. As a man, talk to counselor, go to see a therapist. You are going through some, you know, we talk about mental condition, different mental condition. I don't know, maybe our callers are able to come online, but I don't know, maybe Mrs. Kalejaye. Okay. Before I don't know, maybe you can just connect us with her so that she can just give her
Yeah, I
contribution.
wanted to also mention something. I just
Okay.
remember something now. You see, for every married couple, possibly you are listening to us now. I think Kemi Kaleja is online.
Okay.
Let's allow him, allow her,
Okay. All
allow her.
right.
So.
You're welcome, ma'am. Can you hear us? Hello. Okay, you can continue while
Okay,
she's
so
once she has
the truth of the matter is you must have this at the back of your mind. Either you're a man or you're a woman. Your spouse does not have the capacity to give you joy.
Mm-hmm.
You see, these unrealistic expectations that my husband is there for me 100%, or my wife is there for me to meet my dad, that is one of the things that can result to when you see him or her change, I want to take my life. Nobody is a source, should be a source of your joy. You have to hold your joy yourself. You have to be responsible for your joy. You have to be responsible for what becomes of you. Yes, the marriage might not work, but I'm going to make it work in my own life. This will not end my life. You said, I can end marriage, I shouldn't end my life. All right, so this idea of somebody will be there for you as a husband, as a wife. So if it's not there, you are now moody. It means you've not find your joy. You've not find your feet. Don't look at your husband or your wife to be the one that will be, pay this kind of joy that you're looking for. And then all of a sudden, when it's not there, you start feeling moody and feeling that you want to end it all. No. Hold your joy yourself. Be responsible for what becomes of you. You are going out of work or you are walking out of marriage. It doesn't mean that you will end your life. In case, because there are a lot of expectations. And when you now come in, you now see another thing entirely. In case you find yourself into the process, I strongly believe that when we're going to talk about what is it that cannot even be resolved, it's pride.
Yeah.
I strongly believe there is nothing that cannot be resolved if you want to resolve this matter. Pride of this is who I am.
Yeah.
Pride of I cannot talk to you. Pride of he's not saying sorry to me. Pride of I can't take anything from any man. This is my right and all of those stuff. And I do say marriage is not a place you find for right to. I'm sorry to say it's not. You must learn how to compromise, not your own right. It's for the marriage right. That marriage right concerns you and your spouse. When it becomes to shift towards you alone, not finding or concerned about your spouse, then it means that you're not ready for this institution. So a lot of misconception about marriage, and then you see that it can't work, it can't work.
Thank you very much. Wow. Oh, this is Kalejaye. You're welcome. I believe you can hear us now.
Yes, good evening, house.
Hello. We can't hear
Hello,
you.
can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yes, I
Okay, can you
can.
hear
I
us?
can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we are finding it hard to hear you over here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here tonight, and
Yeah, we
I
are
really
having audio problems
I've,
here.
can you
But
hear me?
I like the point you say. You mentioned that marriage will not be a place where you find joy or you have expectation that, oh,
Somebody will be a
until I
source of a
get
joy.
married, that's when I will
Yeah.
find my joy. Until I get married, that's when I will find happiness. Until I get married, that is where I will find my fulfillment. If you are not fulfilled as a single lady or a single guy, if you are not happy as a single lady or a single, you don't know how to find happiness for yourself, and you tie your happiness around a man. Then by the time the man is not giving, is exactly maybe he's showing his real self. Then does that mean your happiness is gone? No, your happiness should be tied to your internal, as in it should tied to what you can get from inside. It should come from inside,
Yeah.
such that even when the man is even misbehaving or doing something, then you can find a way or go to a place where you can find that happiness yourself. Not necessarily, okay, my man has to give me this happiness, my woman has to give me this happiness, and before you know it, things are really really messing up. And I think we need to really talk about people try not to change. I don't know if she's back, not to change for marriage. I believe marriage should be a place where you are flexible
That's
with
right.
our
That's
behavior
just the word,
pattern. You are
flexibility.
flexible. You are open to correction, open to change. Because it's not a matter of trying to say, okay, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Bring the audio easier.
We are still having you to hear you very well.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you clearly. Yes. Yes, I can hear you clearly.
To hear you more here because
Bring
we
is
need
a
your voice.
technical this thing from here.
Yes.
All right, it's nice. It's nice having you on board. And
Good evening.
we can see you, but we can't hear you. And the technical are still trying their best to get your voice from where you are.
Wow.
And
Maybe network,
the
because
next
I can hear you clearly.
3 minutes will bring you on back. But you can hear us clearly, right?
Yes,
Great, great.
yes.
All right. In the next 5 minutes or 3 minutes, you'll be back. Thank you. God bless you.
Yeah. So as individual, thank you very much. So as individual, I think it's important for us to really work on ourselves, whether you are in marriage already or you are not even yet in marriage. Because one of the preparation for marriage, when you are even a single lady or single guy, is to work on your behavior, work on who you are. Do you have some qualities, some characteristics that can help you sustain marriage? Can you be patient enough? Can you endure enough? Can you can you love enough? Can you be committed to something enough? If they place something in your hand, how long can you be committed to fulfilling to carry out a project? Do you understand? So these are the things that you use to test yourself to know whether you can really manage a relation, you can manage a man in your life or manage a woman, but believing that, oh, I can't change, this is just who I
Who I
am,
am.
I can't work for
The
myself.
problem will continue.
Yeah, and a lot of people have childhood trauma. A lot of people have childhood trauma that they were not healed from.
That's
A
right.
lot of people grew
Fear.
up from an abusive
Oh,
homes.
yeah.
You understand? So a lot of people have some unhealed trauma that they still got married to. And by the time they get married, they believe that, okay, this has to continue. You just see your partner behaving in an irrational way. You don't even find out, okay, why is this person behaving this way? We're just talking about so many things, so many factors that can make things just go worse, or maybe marriages not to work, whether in Nigeria or in diaspora.
Diaspora.
But by the time it's not work, the reason why we're talking about the diaspora is because people, women especially, they look for, they use that traveling as an escape route. That, okay, that is where I can really enjoy myself, and
Right.
because the rise of single parents, single mothers in abroad, wow, especially in the UK, it is very very high. Because people are like, if it is here in Nigeria that you do that, oh, let's see party, let's see football. Because yes, because our whole culture, why you still believe that, okay, things can still be worked out, but over there, if the man said, by the time you get there, you maintain your speed, you just be humble, naturally you be humble. And I'm like, okay, if you can get there and you can control yourself, you can control your anger, just because of the money that is attached, the being attached, why can't you control yourself while you're in Nigeria?
That's it. That is it.
Do you understand?
You just what you said now. I thought of a woman or a man who traveled to UK and then for holiday, and then the situation was that you can't shout on your child, and then he was about the Nigeria, he cannot beat the child, he cannot do anything. And then immediately they landed the Nigerian airport, he give the son a horse lap. Then we are in Nigeria now. I will show you. So it's so pathetic because like we said, that means it is not really devil pushing you. If you get there and the Lord humble you, the Lord put you right to do what is right by all means, and then you comport yourself, that means you can actually do like that. So you are just trying to feel that I am a man, I want to lord it over. And I'm sorry to say, a lot of people who get married don't really know, like you said at the onset of the program, why they are getting, or Pastor Man, why they are getting married. Why is it that I have to even get married? You understand? They don't know. They don't understand the place of procreation. I just want to have a child, and that's all. Is that all about marriage? You understand? I mean, I was into Ali Baba recently, was talking on the news program. He said, when you hear people say, what are you bringing to the table? Some of the time they think it's only money. And that's the truth. It's not money. What are you bringing to the table is to make this marriage work. Don't look at your husband as the Alpha and Omega. Don't look at him as everything that make up with the home. What are you bringing to the table? It could be an idea. It could be a connection. You said an example of a man who was arrested, and then what the woman brought to the table is a connection. And they came with a baggage of police to arrest the man, and all of a sudden he said, "Just give me a few minutes." The wife, and they call. Before you know it, the vehicle that took the husband is the same vehicle that brought him back. Because in the station there, the person in the call said, "Who told you to go and arrest this man?" Everybody was not pushing. He's he brought something to the table. So I'm saying that two parties, the husband, there is no law that make it as if it has to be me alone that will face these things. We have to work it out ourselves. Two of us have to be involved. So what you are bringing to the table could be an idea, it could be a support, it could be a moral support, whatever. Make sure that things is not deficient and don't falling on your side. As a person, either you're a man or you're an artist, and as a man, don't think because you're a man you have the solution to everything. No, you don't. It might be a little idea from your wife that can make it work, and then you humble yourself. That's why I say it's not a place you have to put for right. I've been in situations where I have to just humble myself because my wife has some solutions. I have to listen to her. Does that make me less? No, it still respects me. All right, so these are things that it's all encompassing. And I think it's high time for us to just look at this from different angles that we mentioned. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of the comment guys say, honestly, why would some people do what they ordinarily would do in Nigeria? Because so some people, what they can't do in Nigeria, or maybe what they can do in Nigeria, when they get there, they won't be able to do it. So that means you have the ability to control yourself.
Yeah.
And when you get there, you just believe that, okay, I have to just comfort myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I think our law system should be able to do well with all this law enforcement on domestic violence and the like. I think if this law are really put in place, maybe it will put measures to some things, and it will reset some things we do, or how we relate or interact, or how we handle some situations.
Yeah.
So maybe
True.
when we
True.
know that, okay, there's a law that is guiding this, then you can't just mess up with your woman anyhow, you can't mess up with your child anyhow, you can't mess up with anybody anyhow, regardless whether it's male or female. So I think we should have law. Our law should really be able to put things in place so that we can put things in structure. Okay, somebody is saying that he would like to meet you, sir. Okay, I believe the person is talking about Pastor probably needs prayer, or maybe needs advice as a man. We are open to advice. We are open to people speaking to us. That's why we are here. Our call line is still scrolling on the screen. Our call line is there for you to call us. If you just have a counsel, you need to talk about whatever you are going through. The line is still 09122026523. So just send a message to that if you like to speak with any of the men here. Like I said, it's about the men. This is in favor of the men because we believe that men are going through a lot, and we're talking about men speaking up. Speak up, please. Don't die in silence. And talk to a therapist. Talk to a counselor. As a mental health counselor, we can take you through the process of going through any abusive relationship or anything that is not working. Thank God he's a counselor too, he's a marriage counselor too. So we can take you through whatsoever you are going through, whether a male or a female. And we have our pastor to Pastor Nixon to is also here, and he can also pray along with you. We believe that there are some things that everything that happens in life has spiritual roots. I believe you believe in that some things have spiritual roots, and there is need for us to really
take it to the spiritual route too, so that we can just get solution to whatsoever might be challenging. Let's have I'm sure we're having issue with connecting our guests. Let's have your final take for the men, finally for the men that are going for the women. I've talked about it, we talked about it, but before we just wrap it up today, what's your final take?
Well, my final take would be, if it is giving you headache, if it is giving you problem and you think you can't cope with it, then it's time for you to seek for help. Don't muffle up and don't take things and sweep it under carpet. Things that are not working should be talked about. And then you're talking about confrontation stage. Talk about it with your spouse. And in case your spouse, you are still not getting the right thing, seek for help. Don't try to say that if it's not working, the only thing there, except it's life threatening, let me work out. We keep emphasizing of seeking for help. In this part of the world, that is missing. And except you probably, maybe somebody else will now say, let's go and see the counselor. You should be able to know you have a problem. Somebody called me one day and says, I wanted to just help me talk to this couple. And I said, do they have an idea that they have a need for solution for their stuff?
Really
so I won't go to a place where I'm not welcome. Yes. So if you are not ready to see that this is a problem, I need a solution, you can't really come with a solution, so to say. So that's just my own. Seek for help, and I think it will go a long way for you.
I think before seeking for help, you mentioned something which is very, very important.
Talk things out.
No, before that, acknowledge that there's a problem.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Know that, okay, there's a problem. These things are not working well. Okay, when you look at your marriage, is it the way you started? I think, okay, we've not talked about stages of marriage. Maybe we're going to talk about it. Maybe, I know some of you might be saying we are talking about marriage issue, but it's very important. We talk about other issues, but we realize that a lot of issues that are happening, as in challenges that people go through, marriage relationship takes bulk, as in bulk share of the whole things people go through. You see people going through relationship, killing themselves because of one thing or the other, as in rape case, abuse. It's very, very,
when killing is involved, is what we're talking about.
you understand.
Absolutely.
So that's why we talk more about relationship issues here. So please identify, discover when you know that, okay, the way you started this thing is not going that same way. Maybe you see that when you started well. Maybe the romantic stage, you've gone past the romantic stage when everything was, you are doing your lovey-dovey. You see that it's not really working. It's like the person you marry, your lover boy, lover girl, is not turning into a beast. Then you should know that something is going on somewhere. You should know that there's a problem. So number one thing is for you to acknowledge that there's a problem. Then number two is for you and your husband or your partner to talk about, okay, what is the problem? Then what kind of mindset do you have about your marriage? That, okay, do we have a resolute mindset that, okay, we can make things work, even though we have our ups and downs, even though we have issues, we can work it. We can work it out. And if you believe, there are some people that believe that, okay, if it is not working out, then we go out of it. You understand? But a lot of us believe that, okay, we can work things out. So if you realize, okay, you can work the things out, talk with your partner. If your partner is a listening type, it's not somebody that will be blaming, maybe you will be blaming each other, then you know that, okay, you are heading towards making it work. And if you realize that for a long time you are not getting where, there's no way, you are not getting headway, you are not getting things done, then it's high time you sought for help from the right source, from professionals, from the right people. You can go to your counselor, you can go to pastors, real pastors. I'm not talking about fake pastors. Go to people, talk to them for help if you know that you really, really need this help. So your final words, sir, as a pastor, for men that are going through this kind of situation, and for women too, and society as a whole, and for people that are trying to jackpot so that they will go and talk to their husband.
Well, God weighs the intents of the heart, and everyone knows the reason and the motive why they do what they do. And most of the time, you may not know the reason why your spouse wants you out of the country. But one thing is very sure. Let's build a healthy relationship. Let's build a relationship whereby one is not self-centered. Let's build a relationship that cares more for the other.
That's right.
Let's profess the love that we talk about in acts. is more than just saying, I love you. I need to see it.
That's right.
I would like to counsel everyone. What you hear is not as important as what you see in terms of marriage. You must be able to see through. How you see matters. Things are not always the way they look. And if care is not taken, the things you can't take now that came to your home and you are shouting everywhere, you are everywhere shouting. I put it to you that there are people that have swallowed something bigger and it's not showing on their face. Babies cry. But at the same time, when you are a man and you need to cry, cry like a baby. Cry out before you die in. And I want to say this. Everybody is always right when there is conflict. I understand that we must not allow third party too much into the interference of our homes. But everybody, when there is something that is going out, seek for help from a third party that is sensible, not biased. Now, when I talk about third party, I don't know what you'll be thinking, that you and your husband will be fighting and you'll be reporting to your husband's mom. Who do you expect her to side? You understand? So for you to get a balance, you need someone neutral, someone who is sensible, someone who will not just come and support you, because at times, looking for third party, people look for people to come and gang up so that they can beat one person. That's not the kind of third party we are talking about. We are talking about someone who can bring the balance into the home. And as you continue in this, don't forget this. Prayer is very good. Prayer helps. But praying enough, neglecting every other thing that ought to be done. Now I'm speaking to Christian ladies. Neglecting every other thing that ought to be done and focusing on prayer alone, you might end up still losing the home. Because there are people who prayed more than you. They lost their home because they didn't do the right thing to be done. There is a place for prayer. There is a place for wisdom. And the Bible says, not through prayer a home is built, but through wisdom. Apply the right application to your home and you will get the best results. Finally, I will say this. For every man that is crying silently, every man going through some hurt and pain, but there is no one to talk to, I put it to you that it's time for you to wake up. In as much as you will be the man, you need another man. You need another man you can talk to. You can't allow yourself to die inside, because when you keep dying inside, very soon you die on the outside. Look for help. Look, I know that after the help, there will be this blackmail. You understand, from the other party, so you are reporting me about. If this man that committed suicide had reported about and secured his life, I think it would have been better. Because before he died on the outside, he died on the inside. Seek for help. There are people who God has called to help you in such a journey like this. And I know that there is no home you invite God to. Don't let me even use the word invite God to. There is no home that you allow God to be the foundation and you end up losing the home. It's not possible. Pastor David is saying something very important. The reason why you fight. Take it up, throw it down, reshuffle it, rearrange it, turn it upside down, do it anyhow. It boils down to one thing: pride.
Yes, sir. True, sir.
You want to be the last man speaking. You want to be the last man standing. You want to show your power and your authority. Alagbara, come down. Please, for you to have a good home, you have to be intentional. There are things that you must allow it to rub on you. Others will say, I can't take that. You took all this. Please take it. please take the ones that when you take it, it will not kill you. While you are taking it, keep looking for how to work out that home until it becomes what it ought to be. But if it now get to the point of physical assault, I'll be the first to counsel you, let there be separation. Because God forbid. But you know this guy that just committed suicide, the lady is going to remarry.
She has moved on.
She's going to do an elaborate wedding.
Oh,
And finally, I will say this so that we can draw the curtain. It might shock you that the woman might just be trying to prove a point that I will show you, not knowing that it will lead to the end of the life of that man. If you are a lady and you are putting too much pressure on your husband because you want to prove a point, I beg you, at the end, the point may be pointless. At the end, the point may be a tragic point. Soft pedal. Likewise, if you are a man, trying to prove a point in the life of your spouse, your wife, learn how to soften the pedal. I pray God give us wisdom.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Amen. Wow, this is really insightful, and I wish men would even watch this and watch the replay. Please share this thing with a man that you know. Please share this with a man that you know, so that they can really watch this. You know, if Pastor made a point, he said, "Cry out so that you don't." I be cry. He said, "Cry out before you die." You know, cry out before you die. And it didn't just start in a day. It start gradually by bottling up issue. I pray God will help us all. Thank you very much, Pastor David, Mr. David. Thank you for coming online too. And I'm so sorry for the breaking transmission we are having. I'm so sorry about that. We are trying to just work and do things better. And apologies to our guest, Dr. Dr. Gudele, Mrs. Kaleja, that tried to call in but they couldn't. Please, so sorry about that. And we are going to come up again next week.